I placed a screw in concrete for this brilliant garden decor, but first I dug a shallow hole in dirt and lined it with plastic. Next, I mixed 1 bag of concrete. I scooped the concrete into the plastic lined hole. I used a scrap 2x4 to tamper down the concrete and smooth the surface. Then I placed a screw in the center of the concrete straight up and down. After about 20 hours, I removed the concrete from the plastic. I drilled a hole in the center of some driftwood, and then I screwed the top concrete part into the stick. I spray painted the concrete part. I drilled a hole into the ground, placed it in the hole, and then I added some dots with spray paint.
So I'm going to start scraping all the grass out of the area, kind of level it up, and then I'm going to grab some high strength concrete mix. Go ahead and get some water, pour it in. Now this concrete mix is going to be a little soupier than normal, so just keep mixing, add water as you need. I want it to slide right off the tool. Now grab a quart bag, Ziploc if you can, and we're going to start filling these up. No more than 3/4. What you're going to need to do is make sure that you get all of the air out. Now find that area and start placing those bags, and then start shaking it. It's going to expand as the concrete settles. Smooth it out and then place the next one next to it. Part of this, I've got a surprise for you. I took some rocks that glow during the night. I'm going to cut a top part of the bag out, peel it away, and I'm going to take those little pebbles and put them in there. Once these are in and the bags have dried overnight, start cutting the plastic and you're going to peel it away. Take some sand and place it all in between the cracks. Now you can just dump it out. I like to spread it a little evenly just to make sure I fill it really good. Once you got it on there, go ahead and start brooming it off. It's going to fill the cracks.
We are going to start off this DIY by going to our local hardware store and going and getting some tile. I ended up over at Walmart and got some red, black, and also white gems. Put some sort of plastic lining. Now we're going to go and take some concrete. Put some water in with the concrete, let it bubble for a couple of seconds, and then started mixing it. Now that I have this in this small bowl, what I did was I went and I just tapped it down, moved it off to the side, and let it set. Now for this largest bowl, what I did was I doubled up 2 plastic bags, pressed it down, then I put in the concrete after. Now, after about 24 hours, these have all set. Now I'm going to go and use some ready mixed concrete patch. So you're going to go and cover the concrete, make sure to get every little tiny bump and crevice there. Then I went and I sketched out the face of the ladybug, which was a half circle at the front, a line in the center, some little circles for where I wanted to go and put some of the white beads, along with also the eyes. Now let's go and break up some tile. I actually only ended up using the 2 black pieces that I had. Now I am using a little bit of Gorilla Glue. I noticed that the Gorilla Glue actually, after about 15 or so minutes, did stick. And also too, I realized that I could use the patch filler as actually an adhesive, which was great because then I didn't have to glue everything down. For the eyes though, and certain portions, I still did want to go and at least glue some of it. And after everything was down and it did adhere after about 15 to 20 minutes, then I went and I covered this. Now this patch adhesive, as soon as it dries, is kind of hard to get off of anything, so I wanted to go and put a good layer on there, have a wet towel, go and wipe this off, and then after that was wiped off, continue onto the front of the ladybug.
Who doesn't have a dozen cardboard boxes piling up in their recycle bin? I decided it was time to put mine to use. I started with my largest box. Using my slice box opener, I started by removing all 4 flaps of the box. Once all the flaps were removed, it was time to make a mini box. I secured the long sides with duct tape and began assembling the smaller box. Using duct tape to secure all 4 sides and bottom together, I placed it inside and got started mixing concrete. I also tried adding 2 wooden dowels to later drill out for drainage holes. If you are recreating this project, be sure to line your box with packing tape for easy removal. After waiting 48 hours, just to be safe, I removed the cardboard to reveal my large planter box. After drilling out the dowel holes in the bottom and giving my entire planter a sand to remove any jagged edges,
Time to run down to your local baker and grab a big old container of cookies. But even though those cookies are yummy, what we want is that decorative lid. We're going to measure it straight across and get about 10 inches. Lay out some cardboard and we're going to pick a bowl that's round for us to mark. Just go ahead and lay it on the cardboard and take a marking pen and get you that perfect circle. Now it's time to mix up our cement. Once we get it mixed, carefully lay it inside the bucket. You can see the consistency here is like some really good pudding. Now, once you get the right amount in, you're going to go ahead and just shake it all up. Cut some strips of wood. This one is going to be full 10 inches across, and the other ones are going to be 4 each. And then glue up the ends, lay it out, and fold it in. We want to make sure that all the pieces of the wood fit inside the circle. Take some popsicle sticks and some hot glue. You're going to lay this across the top. This is going to be our clamp that is going to hold the pieces together while that wood glue dries. Flip it over. We're going to do the other side also. Once you get these pieces on, it's so strong, it's time to go ahead and drill them because we want to put these caster legs on there. All we need to do is take some hot glue, put it in, and all 4 wheels go right in there. Now it's time to take those wood and the wheels, and we're going to just shake it back and forth, let it sink right into the concrete. Let it dry for about 24 hours. Go ahead and turn it back over after that 24 hours is up. We're going to use a knife, and we're going to start cutting away the plastic. We need to get some air in there. That's what's going to release our mold from the concrete. Look at that smooth, beautiful concrete.
You're not going to believe what I do with this vegetable oil. I added ready mix, concrete mix, peat moss, perlite, and water together and mixed well to create a thick concrete mixture. If you roll it into a ball, it should stick together, and then you know it's ready. Next, I oiled the inside of a 20-liter bucket using the vegetable oil, and I carefully packed the concrete into the bucket on the bottom and then worked my way up the sides. I went up about 8 inches, and it was about 1 inch to 1.5 inches thickness. After it dried for 24 hours, I flipped the bucket upside down to take it out, and I used a small wire brush with water to smooth around the top edge and remove any loose dirt and dust around the sides and bottom. Then I used a sponge to apply brown, antique white, and gray acrylic paint around the outside, top, and inside edge of the concrete and blended with a bit of water.
I'm going to grab me some solar lights. Next, head over to the hardware store. I'm going to grab me about 100 feet of nylon rope. First thing I got to do is blow up this dollar beach ball. Then I got to get out some Portland cement. Make sure it's not concrete, but cement. You want it actually really thin because we need to coat that rope. Now, on that beach ball, just start laying that rope. You're just going to start roping it all the way around. Once you get to the end, what you're going to do is tuck that last bit in underneath the rope, and it's going to hold it in place. Then what we can do is move on to possibly adding a little bit more cement. Make sure you cover all that rope. We want it to stiffen up as best we can. Let it sit for a couple hours once we get it covered. Once it's covered, take a knife and just puncture the beach ball. Once we get it all the air out, just go ahead and pull it through one of the bigger openings between the ropes. Now, I want to clean it up. Took a little bit of a plastic fork and just clean up the edges. Don't want anything flaking off. Take a squirt bottle and start squirting all the string, and you're just going to powder it with the cement. Just keep doing that all over. What this does is make it thicker and strengthen it up. We're going to grab that dollar light again. Take out the bottom part. You're going to turn it around, put it in, and that's what's going to stick into the ground. Go ahead and put it right into the ground, right in the area you want to put it. And then you're going to take your string orb and you're going to put it right over the light, right in the middle, and lay it on down.
I dumped the cement powder in, and then it was time to pour in the water. I stirred for about 5 minutes, ensuring that I got all the clumps. You're going to want your mixture to be as smooth as possible. And now it's time to grab your mold. You can use anything like a pizza baking dish that is disposable. Next, you're going to want to pick up your mold and slowly start tilting it from side to side to smooth the top as much as possible. Dry for a little while. I was able to add my mosaic tiles. I waited about 36 hours before removing from the mold. Came out super easily, even easier than I expected. To paint the backside, take the glow-in-the-dark paint. I used 2 coats.